not here to stop us.
He's not here to. That's a very good point.
You know what I mean?
This is like regulator off.
Yeah.
We can just fucking go.
Yeah,
like,
just complete raw dog.
We could talk about whatever we want.
Oh,
I love
God.
it. I would love it if we were super polite and minding our P's and Q's while he's gone. That's what I would love.
He would listen to this and be like, why the fuck are y'all acting like that?
Because we had to, because there's a bar that you set, and
that is true. That is true.
You know, got stuff to do. You want to start it? You want to spin this?
Yeah, let's do it. You ready?
Yeah, spin it.
Let's get it. I don't know what the fuck we gonna play today, so
let's just do it. I don't care.
It's that time. Things just ain't the same for young Jermaine, still underrated, but far.
I felt like we played the other one a lot, so I just felt like
no, it's fine. Change it. Doesn't matter. It's our show. Do what you want.
Yeah, you're right.
Welcome to Films in Black and White, everybody. How are you all feeling? It is a great Monday to be with you all. Y'all, we are without our regulator. We are without our referee. We're like two kids left at home, and their parents went on a date, and they said, here's $20 for pizza. And we went, what? Yeah. What else can we do with this $20?
Yeah.
So
that's
Brian is taking some much needed R&R with his family in the Great Smoky Mountains of Eastern Tennessee.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brian. It's a great. I mean, the photos he shared from the Airbnb. Oh my goodness.
Beautiful.
It looks outstanding. So I'm glad he's there, and I hope he has a good time with the family. Y'all, we're gonna talk a little Bad Boys, Ride or Die.
Bad boy.
What you gonna do? Except for like really close.
Really close shot like this.
We're gonna tell you about an alligator that may or may not be a racist allegory. We're also gonna just talk a little bit of new stuff. We're gonna kind of do whatever we want today.
Whatever the fuck.
It's outstanding, and I'm very excited.
I told Doug before this started, there is no buffer. Okay,
no.
Brian is usually the buffer of respect that we have. Whenever I look at his square, I know we've gone too far. I have no square to look at. It's just me and Doug again.
We won't know. We won't know unless either someone in the chat like holds us accountable, or
we get canceled the next day. That's it.
Canceled. Whichever one comes first.
No warning, just whichever one comes first.
Yeah, that's fine. But more importantly, Marcus J. Destin, aka Mr. Boo versus Big Texas. How you feeling, sir?
You know what? It feels so good. This is like the first week I've had being back. That's like, okay, yeah, I feel like I'm adjusted. The timelines, all the multiversal time zones and timelines are back in alignment. I'm back to waking up at 4:30 a.m. on my own accord and not because I'm off kill with the time zones. But feeling good. I got to kick it with my guy Dougie yesterday, and Saturday. It was Saturday. We had to kick it Saturday. Did a lot of fun stuff. Went to some of the kids in the neighborhood. Some of my favorite kids in the neighborhood had lemonade stands, aka Harrison and Harper and the family. And then Winter and Haley Warren, they also had one. So I just grabbed a couple dollars and went to just go to lemonade stands. End up hanging out with Doug there. Laughed our asses off on the way to McDonald's. Then we came back. He finished the lemonade stand. Then we went to Sioux City to go watch Bad Boys and laughed our asses off on the way there and on the way back. Just
almost got killed by a bat on the way back.
Oh my God, the bat swooped out. I see why people are afraid of like Batman, because that motherfucker is terrifying.
I absolutely see why they're terrified of Batman.
Seeing that shit in the middle of the fucking night, like a bat just swoop down and all you see is until it hits the headlights. Yeah.
Oh my God. So for context, Marcus and I are driving back. We are close to Vermilion, and he and I are both laughing about another joke, like hysterically. Man. And then out of nowhere, this giant fucking thing that I can only assume is a bat comes swooping out. And I kid you not, it scared me so much. I stopped laughing and just screamed. Yep. It was like, bah! Like I just did like, and I felt like, and then right after straight back to like, laughing so hard I was crying. Like it was just
crazy.
It was an incredible experience.
It was just a great day. I've almost died. I almost died on the way to McDonald's because I have fucking tears in my eyes from laughing, swerving in the road. It was just we're gonna explain the Mr. Boo joke to you because this is now a part of the films of black and white like character lore. So we'll explain that to you after we check in with Doug, aka Mr. Does No Homework. How are you?
Don't do homework. I'm doing really great. Had an outstanding weekend. It's always great when you have those weekends when you can just laugh and laugh and laugh. There's like it's just cathartic. So it was great. All in all, though, we had garage sale Friday and Saturday. So shout out to Brittany for all her hard work. I would like to say I helped setting up tables, and that is the extent of the help that I did. The rest of it is all glory to Brittany because she did an outstanding job. So shout out to her for that. So yeah, we just did kind of like spring cleaning type stuff. So we got rid of a lot of shit in the house, which is outstanding. I love like decluttering, so I'm all about it. Excuse me, all about it. But other than that, like Marcus said, just a great weekend. Got a lot done, got to recuperate a little bit on Sunday. And now it's like back to the grind, back to the regularly scheduled programming of the week. We got baseball tomorrow and Thursday. And other than that, we're just kind of keeping on. So that's what we got, man.
Are you coaching baseball? Or are you supporting?
I am not. I don't know a ton about like the technical components of baseball. Now at like Harrison's level where it's T-ball, you need to learn how to throw, catch, and hit a ball. Like
that's it. Basic, bare minimum.
Associated. But the other reason why is this summer I am traveling for work, and I know that there are some trips coming, and I would hate to be like, hey, I can commit for like the first 2 weeks and then I'm out. So no, I am not coaching. I am helping tomorrow. His main coach is out of town, so I am substituting tomorrow for coach. But other than that, no, I'm taking a hiatus from the coaching extravaganza.
No, hey, no, at least you know. Some people will still commit and still not show the fuck up.
Because that's the thing. It's like I don't want anyone to like depend on me. Like it would be a whole thing, and I just don't want to do it. So
no, that's fair.
Shout out to go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Shout out Roman Myers in the Patreon.
I was gonna shout out Roman in the chat. By the way, his tagline, "A Bug's Life 2, a Butterfly Apocalypse," is hilarious to me. Like that's just because I want to know what causes the ants to go after butterflies like that.
It's got to be, my favorite thing is just organic, natural nature beef. Like you don't know why these two motherfuckers don't like each other. Yeah. They just don't. You know what I mean? It just kind of works like that. And sometimes you don't need I learned from Kendrick, you don't need a real reason to hate somebody. You can just hate off of like just the strength of just
the way that they walk and the way that they talk.
Yeah, that's the way that you dress, the way that you walk, the way that you talk. Same thing with ants and butterflies.
Like that's fine. That's fine.
That's perfectly fine.
Get those colorful wings out of here. I get it.
Some shit ain't that deep. It's just cringeworthy, I guess. You know what I mean? Just like that's what it is.
Yeah, I get it. But you had a question. I interrupted you. What was your question?
So when do you want to explain to people? Because I feel like we have to have the time. We got to take the time to explain Mr. Boo, right? And for new listeners, that like this is the first episode. Mr. Boo is the antithesis to Big Texas, right? Yes. We introduced a couple pods ago.
Yeah.
So when do you want to do that?
I think now's a good time. Okay. Right? Because it'd be weird to try to introduce him at the end because that's putting an intro. That's like a new concept in your conclusion.
Could catch that quotable.
Could do right after catch that quotable.
Momentum. Yeah.
It'll help get us talking and get the juices flowing. Maybe we'll get the quote better. I don't know. We'll find out. True. So anyway, so there's two things that were hilarious this weekend. The first thing that almost got us fucked up in an accident is Marcus showed me this graduation video.
Okay, wait, should I? Let me set it up first.
Okay. Set it up.
I'll set it up. All right, so boom, this is what happened. Okay, my little sister. First of all, shout out to my mama. Okay, shout out to Maisha Sellers, who graduated with her associates. Shout out to my sister Mia Destiny Sellers, who graduated high school this past weekend. Okay, so everybody's graduating. Also, happy Pride Month, and also happy Men's Mental Health Awareness Month as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
both
sure.
things equally important. Stop acting like two things can exist at once, you bitch ass fucks. So, all right. So here's what happened. They graduate, right? Boom. Mia goes and wants to have a party and all this other stuff. Okay, cool. We don't do that. I am trying to get the live stream of the graduation. Okay. My dad sent me the link to the live stream to the page. This is Watachuga High School that's on the page. This is the page it's supposed to be. Now, for those of you that know, I have some chronic illnesses. So I have a medical marijuana card. Okay.
Yeah.
So, hey, on the weekends, in order to help me sleep better, you know what I mean? Got some anxiety, all that stuff. I popped the edible this weekend. Okay. I was like, you know what? It's tomorrow, Saturday. I ain't got shit to do. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna pop an edible, and then I'm gonna kind of wait for the graduation to start. I don't pop it just to watch stuff, but this weekend was a good weekend of white cinema, is what I told Doug. This is a good weekend of white content and white cinema. Okay. That's why he came into 3 Days Grace Riot.
A graduation video is, if you're curious, does a graduation video count as white cinema? It does for this high school.
Yeah,
it does for this one.
When there's only 5 created black players in the whole entire movie, the little thing. So this is what happened. Okay, boom. You know how they do the live stream and they do some pre-credits. So the pre-credits is rolling, right? And what they have is the picture of each student. Okay. And then they have, it's a picture of each student with this like 70s, 80s blue water marked background shit, right? And then everybody's wearing like the black either dress or black tuxedo with a bow tie, okay? Because that's the look. Got it?
Yeah.
Then they have their name up top. Okay. Then with the music, they got like some 70s free instrumental music playing, 70s, 80s, something like that. Real good, like instrumental. So, mind you, yes. You remember what it sounded like? So
no, I pulled that from Community, but yes, it had that vibe for sure. It had that vibe. That definitely sounded
like one of the songs. So
yes,
we go, right? I go into this thing. Now, what I didn't know was the high schools, obviously, they kept fucking it up, so they couldn't get the live stream right. So the link that my dad sent me was 23 minutes and 32 seconds long because they must have started it and then stopped it because they couldn't figure out how to get the live stream going. Okay. I watched this shit for 50 minutes. Okay. Because I was high as hell. Okay. Let me tell you what I saw. I saw a masterpiece. Okay. I'm watching this shit 23:32. I watched it twice. Okay. I watched the shit twice and was in awe of the shit that I saw. This is my little sister's high school. I think this is the greatest shit in the fucking world. I'm watching, and each of these kids look like they are fake high school characters.
Yes. They are generated by AI, all of them.
It's like the Matrix. It was like there was this massive glitch in the Matrix because I'm watching all of these characters, and one of these kids, I shit you not, looked like a pencil. He looked like a straight pencil. Like if I was to ask ChatGPT, create a pencil, they would draw like a human pencil. They would draw that motherfucker.
They would draw that kid. Yep, that's exactly what would happen.
I'm not even exact. To me, all I wanted to do was get Scorsese. I wanted to get Spielberg. I wanted to get Leonardo DiCaprio to just watch this masterpiece and just remake this shit for live action because I watched this shit twice straight through and was thoroughly entertained. That just let you know the edible was hitting like that, or whoever put together them pre-credits was on they shit because all of that shit was just perfect. So of course, I tell Doug, and Doug, tell the people how you reacted to it.
Well, when he first said like, okay, I got to show you this high school graduation video, I was like, okay, that's weird. Like, my knee-jerk reaction was like, there's no way that this is funny. But then as you keep cycling through, there are some folks where it was like, hey, ChatGPT.
I'm pulling this shit up. Can I pull it up?
Please show what Leonard Hofstadter looked like as a high school person. And they just put it in there. And then they also said like, hey, give me exactly what a black Republican would look like. And that was like one of the black folk that were on this particular. So it was odd. Like it was very odd. But what fucked me up was the way Marcus was describing them. When he called this gentleman a pencil, I laughed so hard. Like it was hysterical to me because he's right. If you said, make a pencil a human being, that is exactly what that would look like.
Listen, this is exactly what I want to show y'all. Oh, I got to figure out the right one. Now, ignore the names because I'm not making fun of the people. Okay,
No,
I'm just going to show
absolutely
you.
not. Congratulations to them for graduating.
Yes,
We're very proud of you here at
absolutely,
Films in Black and White.
Absolutely. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit so you can't really.
There it is. Good work.
I want y'all to just see this shit, how I saw it.
That music is fucking wild as shit.
Look at this shit. Imagine watching this shit and you are just looking at this kid like this kid look like he's fake out of a movie. Everybody just looks like they are not real.
They're not. They're not real at all. The hair is too shiny.
Look at this. Look.
It's not right. That is CGI hair.
This is it. Something is just like either they glossed
That
it
girl
too
calls
much.
her dad my daddy. That's what exactly happens there. I need everyone to understand that.
All right, I had to get out of there because I feel like that's gonna get us canceled. I was forgetting this is somebody's kid.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Anyway,
her daddy gonna call us. That's what's gonna happen. Like, you better stop and get my daddy. Like, that's the level of South that we were dealing with.
This is why we need Brian, because he tripled down on the daddy.
I
just tripled down on it
because Brian's not here. Brian would be like, oh boy, and that would be my cue to stop. But he's not here. He's not here, and I don't know what to do. So I just keep going with the joke. Like I just.
There's the warning from the Patreon.
Okay, there it is. There's the Patreon. Yeah. There's the Patty family looking out for us. So thanks, Roman.
That was me watching this shit high as hell. Wow. I think that I just discovered a fucking masterpiece. But shout out to Mia, shout out to my mom, shout out to all those kids that graduated. That has nothing to do with you. I just think that as much as we've gotten mad at ChatGPT, we created the monster that is just recreating the world that we live in.
Yes.
Art imitates life.
And life imitates art. Exactly how this works. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yep, every month you do. Every
month and every Catch That Quotable. Speaking of Catch That Quotable,
let's go ahead and play Catch That Quotable, shall we?
Catch That Quotable.
Silky sounds of Marcus J. Marcus, are you ready for this week's quote?
Hit me.
All right. Well, if it isn't Pork-Faced Jones, I can eat a box of cookies tonight. Can you do that? No, because you're nothing but a fart-faced kid.
Huh?
That's the quote. That's the quote that I just read, which is, well, if it isn't Pork-Faced Jones, I can eat a box of cookies tonight. Can you do that? No, because you're nothing but a fart-faced kid.
Okay, so this feels like one of those like Joe, what's the one? You know, you usually have an adult who is like hanging around a bunch of kids, like the immature adult that hangs around like a bunch of kids, like Bad News Bears or Joe. There's a movie with Joe something in it, and he has a mullet.
Joe Dirt. Yeah,
something
Joe
like
Dirt.
Yeah.
Roman, that's not a quote. Doug's just insulting you.
Pork face, what?
Pork face. I'll get you. No, the other one that I thought that this could be there was a series of movies about like summer camps. Like, remember the movie Heavyweights?
Oh, I do.
With Ben Stiller. This feels like it could be Heavyweights too.
Oh, that could be Heavyweights because it's making fun of the food with the food portion.
Yeah,
that's a good guess.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got. But anyway, I like your guess too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to go Joe Dirt if you just go.
Yeah,
I think Heavyweights is good. I think Heavyweights is a good bet.
Let's just do that. I mean, Roman did sort of insinuate that we're not going to get it, so
that's fine.
I'm also not super worried about that.
We're not surprised, Roman. That's what we're here for.
No, that's what we're here for. Okay.
Way off or like what
we were way off.
Give me like a one-word hint.
Soccer.
Is this the movie we thought Will Smith was Will Ferrell?
Do you mean my mother-in-law, the one that she thought it was? Yes.
Kicking and screaming.
Yes. It is in fact kicking and screaming. I could have just said mother-in-law, and you would have gotten it. I would have known that shit, yeah. So shout out to my mother. This is kicking and screaming, but so shout out to my mother-in-law. She was here. She helped with the kids. I always love having her here, but there was a hilarious exchange between her, Brittany, and I before we went to go see the movie. And anyway, so I sold some of my DVDs as a part of my collection because, again, I just didn't watch them much. And anyway, she goes, what movie are you going to see? I said, oh, I'm going to see Bad Boys 4 with Marcus. And she goes, you have the first one? And I said, no, I don't. Like, I most certainly do not. I was like, I've never seen the first one. I I know I don't have that movie. And so she goes, yes, you do. That's got, she's like, who's in it? I said, it's Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. She's like, no, you definitely have that movie. And I was like, nope, I do not. And I was like, she was like, I was like, Will Smith is actively a black man. Yep. And she goes, well, there was somebody on the cover, somebody, but he wasn't black though. And I was like, well, then it's not Bad Boys and it's not Will Smith. Like, that's not.
Could have been Bad Boys, but it's definitely not Will Smith. And
it turned out that she was sort of like free associating. Like, so she heard Will Smith, saw Kicking and Screaming, went, that's Will Ferrell. Doug said Will Smith. That's how we got to Bad Boys. So again, I don't fault her for that logic. It's just a hilarious exchange to be like, I don't know, there was somebody on a cover, but he wasn't black. It's like, it's not Will Smith then. So it's just hilarious. That was just hilarious.
It's like the lady on the plane who got me confused with another big black man when she gave me my blanket. She was like, it was like dark and I was asleep. And she came and I had my blanket on me. It was like on Hawaii. And she tapped me on the shoulder and she was like, excuse me, did you ask for this extra blanket? And I said, no, because I looked down in my blanket. I said, no, ma'am, I didn't. She says, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And she's looking confused and she goes up a couple rows and it's another big black dude with a beard that had asked for the blanket. And she was like, you could tell she was trying not to make eye contact with me on her way back. She was just kind of like, oh, you called me up front? Like, no, they didn't call you. Like,
I gotta go. The coffee's due. We gotta serve the coffee. And you're like, no, you don't.
Because it's black, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I thought she were gonna make some sort of statement like she confused you with like Rick Ross or something like that. And she was like, excuse me, Mr. Ross. And I was like, no, that's not Marcus.
Sitting in 55C? I don't think so. Yeah.
Hey, sometimes you got to slum it to remind you of where you've been. Yeah, that's where you got to see where you've come to see where you've been.
When I get rich, everyone will know. Yeah, everyone will know.
What's that meme? Like, you won't hear about it, but there'll be signs.
There'll be signs. And my sign's gonna be loud as hell. So please believe that.
Okay, I'm very excited about that. Anyway, Marcus, we did not tell anyone about Mr. Boo. So we're kind of splitting our updates in half, which I think is fine.
We're just waiting.
Do you want to tell them about Mr. Boo?
I feel like I should because
you should.
Yeah. I feel like it originated with me, and I want to let everybody
it started from the movie, so it's very movie adjacent.
It is movie adjacent. So we are on our way home. Like, we just walked out the movie theater. We're discussing the movie and some life stuff and everything else like that, right? And so, the movie takes place in Miami. That's how we got on this, right? So Doug, for the past month and a half, 2 months, because we're about to travel together to go to Orlando in a conference and some other things, right? Doug tells me, by the way, there was clearly not enough alligators, or if you're expecting alligators to just be walking around in Florida, that's not true.
They're not there. Florida has conned us all into thinking that when you show up in Florida, you get there and these fucking dinosaurs are just walking around. Like, you be careful. You can see them wherever. I was there. Now, granted, it was 2 years ago, so maybe they've heard my complaints and just released some more so you can see them. I don't know.
Doug wants more alligators. So
you know what? This white guy from South Dakota says we don't have alligators. Yeah. Let's show him what's up. So you don't see them. And so I was there 2 years ago and I didn't see a single one. And I looked for them. Like, every time I walked next to a body of water, I stopped my wife and children and I was like, hold on. Let's see if there's alligators in there. And I would just look to see if they showed up. And this movie has a section that takes place in Florida in a abandoned amusement park that was alligator themed. And there's just fuckers swimming around eating people in this movie. So I wanted to point out to Marcus to lower his expectations that there aren't just alligators everywhere.
So I asked Doug, what was he expect? I wasn't I either asked him or told him I wasn't expecting like an alligator to pick me up in the Uber, like when I get off the fucking plane. And so that elevated and escalated this entire character, right? So what we imagined was, and together, this is how Big Texas also came along, by the way, in Sioux City, in the same kind of a trip. Okay?
Something in the air in Sioux City that just gets our creative brains going.
Creative juices flowing. So anyway, long story less long. I said, all right, there's not gonna be an alligator pick me up in my Uber. If there is, I'm gonna let you know that alligator picked me up. He's like, oh, it's an alligator, and he's wearing what?
We said it's a shoe shine. We said it was a shoe shine alligator that was wearing like black tap shoes, a coat and tails, and a top hat, and talked in the most racist way you could possibly. Like, imagine people from Bamboozled, but
Okay,
it's like
wait,
that's just it.
wait. Okay, so Doug. So I say he's not gonna pick you up in an alligator. Now, Doug is not doing a black accent. He's just doing a southern, like
I'm just doing a southern
he's
accent.
just doing a southern accent,
Mhm.
which he like sometimes he'll do it just for like a joke. We're telling a joke
Mhm.
or something. So he does it, and I say, "Oh, so the alligator is an old school black alligator," and he says he's laughing. So I called the alligator Mr. Boo, first name Jigga.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so the alligator's name is Jigaboo, which is a very racist black character.
Don't repeat that to anyone.
So, yeah, if you are, don't say that shit. Just don't repeat it. Don't even say it out loud. We called him Mr. Boo, and the next thing you know, he's tap dancing. He has like alligator. He has crocodile shoes on, but he has like, he's an alligator. He has a hat. He's the antithesis to Miss Big Texas, our hero, our anti-hero that we divided.
Mhm.
That is Mr. Boo. I don't know how we got there, but we laughed
Me
the rest
neither.
of the fucking ride home.
And then we were almost killed by a bat, and it
Yes.
took us out of it.
Yes.
And I want everyone to know that I was thanking God at that moment for a great day. I was like, this was a great day. We got to laugh. We got to have fun. And the joke I said to Marcus was, he saw us all having fun, and he went, enjoy the last one. Like, there's the bat. So, like, fucking kill
you think laughing at a Jigaboo is hilarious? Oh, watch this.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
So that's and we are gonna get some animation. We're gonna get someone to draw Mr. Boo in Big Texas. God help whoever has to talk to us.
They're gonna
hate
that shit.
They're gonna hate it so much. But we'll use your Patreon dollars for that. So once again, shout out to the Patreon family.
This is what you support. But
but Marcus, before we get into Bad Boys Ride or Die, any news that you want to cover, sir?
Let me see. There was some.
I have one if you need to get ready.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please,
okay.
please.
So we talked about Kevin Costner's Horizon American Saga a few episodes back. Roman wants to know how he goes down a tier.
Oh, is that what did it? This is why we need Brian.
But anyway, so like usually when they forecast movies that are going to be big, now this movie Horizon doesn't come out until July. Yeah, so it doesn't come out until end of June. But the problem is that they're forecasting how well it's going to do by seeing like pre-ticket sales. And this movie is not really expected to do really well. There is one major tracking service that says they are projecting its domestic opening to be $12 million.
How?
For reference, it cost $100 million to make. So they are literally saying it is 1/10 of its opening. Now, and that's without any like marketing budget or cost being put behind it. So this is concerning for Kevin Costner, because if you can't motivate the Yellowstone crowd to get out and support this movie, they are not showing up. So the plan is here that if they can figure out how to do it, they will push the marketing dollars behind it. But if I'm Warner Brothers, because they're the ones who helped make it, I'm very, very concerned. So yes.
Good luck. You cancel Batgirl for this. Like you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you keep shelving movies for tax purposes and tax write-offs and shit. And then I feel bad for the dude because he funded this with his own money. You know what I mean?
$38 million of his own money he put into it.
Tough. Like that's tough.
Now, he says, like when they asked Kevin Costner, they said, hey, are you worried about these forecasters saying it's not going to do well? He said, no, I'm not worried about it because most of my fans live in the middle of the country. They don't go and buy their tickets ahead of time like others. Like, I'm not worried about them. But remember, this movie is concerning because of what it's supposed to portray and the way it paints America at that time. So I don't know what's going to happen. So, but yeah,
partially right, but I mean, yeah, that's tough, dude.
Yep. And then the other half of this is that they did do some more forecasting for tickets, and Quiet Place Day 1 looks like it's going to do outstanding. Like it's supposed to, they say it's supposed to be a $40 million opening, which is awesome. So,
that trailer was great. I mean,
the trailer's awesome.
Honest, the trailer we saw before the movie was really, really good. So I'm not surprised by that. And I think that John Krasinski and whoever else came up with that idea of A Quiet Place, I don't think I imagined it going this far, but I like this direction because you can do so many different worlds and universes, and you don't need the same characters to do them. So, I mean, I think you struck gold with that, to be honest.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
So, but Marcus, what do you got?
My only news, like obviously we'll talk about Bad Boys and how well that is doing. Go support My Adventures with Superman season 2 is out now. I have not started watching yet, but it is out. They are like slowly releasing episodes. I did want to say I watched Wheel of Fortune with my mom all the time growing up, and like right after the new Wheel of Fortune came on, and you know Pat Sajak just recently retired. He did his last episode of Wheel of Fortune, I think last Friday.
Yeah, last week. I think it was last week Thursday.
Or Thursday, probably. Yeah, probably Thursday. Yeah. And so we watched Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune all the time. So those were like essential to my childhood with my aunt, you know, being at my auntie's house and all that other stuff. And just want to shout out Pat Sajak, you know, I mean, just keeping it clean as far as I know, and just doing the job. Vanna White also as well. Not sure if she's also leaving, but like I know she probably will stay on there. But Ryan Seacrest is taking over, I guess, as the host for Wheel of Fortune, which I think is a good fit. They didn't struggle as much like trying to find his predecessor. No. His replacement, essentially his successor. I'm sorry. Thank you. I don't want to say replacement.
Yep.
His successor than they did with Jeopardy. Like they kind of struggled with Jeopardy, and I don't know.
They couldn't figure out who to put there.
Yeah, they went through a couple people, and then they went my guy LeVar Burton, and then didn't stick with him when like pretty much everybody liked that, and then they went with the previous winner. I'm not really sure where they landed, but I just wanted to shout out Pat Sajak. Shout out to Ryan Seacrest for his 30 millionth job. I heard he's getting like $28 million a year just from this fucking show.
Oh my god!
Like I don't know. I don't. This dude got so much fucking money. Just let me borrow a couple stacks. That's all I want, Ryan Seacrest. Just let me borrow
half a stack.
Like half a stack would be fine, please.
That would be fine.
So. Yeah. And that's really it. There's some other loose news out there, but I'm ready to talk Bad Boys, so we should just get into that. Also, shout out to wrestling because I'm getting back into wrestling and the storyline, and I think that now that they've had this transition and they got rid of Vince McMahon, the nasty motherfucker, and kind of cleared house, and they're going this new direction. The storylines are kind of amping up to kind of be what they used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of similarities in how they're going to kind of put this thing forward. I stepped in at the back end when it was Rock versus Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and everybody. Yeah. Like I watched that WrestleMania 41, and I've been catching up on like some of the storylines of like your favorite. That's the best part about wrestling, right? Like you can watch your favorite storyline. I like LA Knight. I like The Rock. I like Roman Reigns. I like you know, all of those guys. So just shout out to wrestling. Bring back wrestling. That's all I got to say. Now let's talk Bad Boys.
Let's talk Bad Boys. So Marcus, you and I saw Bad Boys 4 Ride or Die. Really just Bad Boys Ride or Die, but really it's the fourth one. Do you care to get first really quick, because Brian is not here? Spoiler alert. If you are not wanting to have Bad Boys Ride or Die spoiled, please turn back now. Save us for after you see it, because we're going to get into some of the details associated with the movie. So yeah, but definitely want to look out for that. Marcus, care to give us a barbershop summary for Bad Boys Ride or Die?
For sure. So what had happened was we back. The OGs is back. The Fresh Prince and Mr. Martin Lawrence. All right. So they are back. We, you know, the crew is back since after the third movie. The third movie, just as a quick recap, Will Smith, there was a lady he put in jail who was a witch, right? She was a witch and she cursed Will, and Will got shot, and then he had a baby, and so that was his son. They had a little kid together, and that was his son. And then they had to go unframe Will because they tried to frame Will, and he got shot and he died. They thought they killed him, but then he didn't. Then the Bad Boys came back and they put together their own team, and then boom, that's how we got here. So fast forward, his son was in prison in the last one. His son is in prison in this one. Their big dog, Okay, the what is it? I forgot his name. Jesus. There, he died in the last
Captain?
one. Yes, the captain.
Joy Pants.
Yes, Joey Pants.
Joy
We'll
Pants.
get his real name. But Joey Pants is the captain, right? But Joey died in the last one. Will still got PTSD, okay, because he died in front of him. And so his daughter and his granddaughter's in this one. This movie kicks off with Will and Martin headed to a wedding, but comes to find out it's Will Smith's wedding. So Will married his physical therapist after he got shot, which is kind of random, but I feel you. I don't know why they went that route, but I feel you. So Will is finally married. He's no longer a bachelor. If anybody know anything about Mike Lowry was a bachelor. He could dress. He would have loved all the women. He goes and he finds a perfect woman, marries him. Okay, the woman that he was previously dating and in love with and kind of immaturely bounced around with is now married to the next person that's running for mayor, aka Mr. Fantastic. Okay, so my guy Mr. Fantastic is in this movie playing the mayor who's dating his previous love interest. Okay, so it turns out there's a bad guy, McSteamy. Okay, McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy he's the bad guy in this, and his name is, I forgot what the fuck his name was actually. They always say it twice.
McGrath.
McGrath.
They only say it once. McGrath is his name.
Yeah, why the fuck they only say his name once?
I don't know.
McGrath, which so he is basically, his boss wants to set up the captain as for being dirty. Okay. And so the captain was close to busting this trial. He was close to busting their ass and exposing all the bad police, the dirty cops and all this other stuff. But what they do is they transfer a shit ton of money to the captain's account to post his death. And they set him up as he was the one that was one of the dirty cops. And basically Will and Martin are trying to exonerate him and prove that he's not a fake. But it's so corrupt that they don't know who to trust. And so the captain sent this message after he died, and it was released after somebody tried to hack into it. Y'all got to finish the job. Y'all my bad boys. This is where you find all the case files. This is what I was close to. They go and try to do that. Martin has at the beginning, Martin has a heart attack. And so in that, he has this awakening of being I can't die. I have so much life left in me, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So they pair together to go trust each other. Martin is encouraging Will as Will is dealing with PTSD and anxiety and can't be his full cop self, while Martin is having this full awakening of feeling alive and not being the scary kind of Martin as they've depicted him in the past. And they go and try to solve this case. They go chasing down the son. The captain's daughter is a U.S. Marshal who is I'm going to kill a Will's son because he killed my dad, while also chasing them down. They all become fugitives, and that's kind of the full gist of the movie.
That's a great song. I mean, yeah, you nailed all the major beats. There's this movie is it's sort of one part. It's sort of one part action movie. One port. I don't know why I said port. It's one port. No, it's one. It's one part.
Mr. Boo.
Mr. Boo. It's one part mystery, almost sort of angels and demons-esque of trying to put all of the pieces together to figure out the truth. And then the other part is pure action. It's just an action movie. So it's kind of a little bit of both, and it works. You did a great job summarizing it. Let's run down cast and box office. So Will Smith plays Mike Lowry, Martin Lawrence plays Marcus Burnett, Vanessa Hudgens plays Kelly, Alexander Ludwig plays Dorn, Paula Nunez plays Rita, Eric Dane McSteamy plays McGrath, Ion Grafud plays Lockwood, or that's Mr. Fantastic. Jacob Scipio comes back and plays Armando, which is Will Smith's, Mike Lowry's son. Melanie Libbard plays Christine. Tasha Smith plays Teresa. Rhea Seehorn from Better Call Saul plays Judy. Tiffany Haddish is in this. Her character's name is Tabitha. Joe Pantoliano. AKA Joey Pants, plays Captain Howard, and then DJ Khaled's in this.
The disappointment. Yes, DJ Khaled is in this. When he popped on the screen, Doug said, "Oh no, not this guy."
That, and then he got blown up, and I said good
He
a
was
little
like,
bit
good.
louder than I should have.
Yeah.
There were two things I said loudly in this movie. One thing about green M&Ms, and the other thing about DJ
I
Khaled.
forgot you talked about Doug is when I say Doug is the craziest dude, it's pre-movie role. Okay, it's Nuvi. Shout out to Nuvi. We love watching y'all. You know what I mean? Do your thing.
I can't even remember the lady who does Nuvi, but yep, shout out to Nuvi. No, Maria Menounos. It's Maria Menounos.
Thank you. It is Maria. Because you the one that told me. So, listen, there was an Eminem commercial at the beginning. The lights are on. Me and Doug already got our feet kicked up because we're in a recliner seat. And this motherfucker is like, he's loud as hell, by the way, because there's people right next to him, right above us, and 2 seats down from me. This dude, Doug, says, yeah, the green M&M was an aphrodisiac because people, what the rumor was, right? Green M&Ms made you want to fuck. It's just loud.
But Marcus thought that I was talking about that specific character rather than the belief back in the day that the green ones were an aphrodisiac for some reason or another. But Marcus is like, Doug, keep your voice down. Like, there are people around. And I'm like,
loud as hell, right?
No, it's like a real thing. And so I Google it, like I show it to him. He's like, oh, I thought you meant like that one was like making you horny. And I was like, Marcus,
I didn't know. I was just trying to help my guy. I was just
trying
to help Brian. Excuse me. What? Robin?
Yes, they were. No, we don't have time for this. We haven't even touched the movie yet.
Apparently, the green M&M is an aphrodisiac.
Apparently,
figure,
in the day, Google it.
Yeah.
You can Google it, and it'll talk about how, like, I think it was in the 70s. It was some people believed that the green ones were an aphrodisiac. It's the reason when they made them all. They gave them all like legs. They tried to like make the green one like sexier, which is weird to say out loud. And I
can tell you were struggling with that.
I can realize that it gets me in trouble by saying like, oh, look, they made that one sexy. I don't think that. The people who marketed it and designed it. Let's talk about anybody else from this that we need to get into.
So the green M&M's got sexy legs, right?
Yeah. So, okay. The box office for this movie. The box office for this movie, the budget is estimated at $100 million.
Yep.
Yeah. We could that one, and for some reason, the brown one are both the females that I don't get. The brown one wears glasses, the green one doesn't. I don't know.
How did you notice that? Wow. All right.
I gotta stop. All right, here we go. But the budget's $100 million. Opening weekend, $56 million domestically, and then $105 million worldwide. So I mean, worldwide made its money back. So there we are.
I think they said that this movie was okay, I don't like this phrasing. I think that they said this movie overperformed. I just think that they didn't. Marcus into mom, Doug into the green M&M. Everybody's got their thing.
They got their thing. We're not here to yuck anyone's
yucking. My guy wants to fucking M&M. I will tell him wear protection. That's all I got.
What a mess that would be.
Do you think you're concerned?
Do you think they still melt? Do you think the concept of melt in your mouth, not in your hand, do you think that still applies if you try to fuck it?
Absolutely, when you're 69. I need Brian because I can't stop.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay.
Boy howdy.
Yeah, I don't like that phrasing either. I don't like that. I don't like that phrasing either of like it overperformed.
Here's what I think. Here's what I kind of think happened, right? So I want to just contextually, a lot of people were making a lot of good points, specifically in the Black community from socials, because that's just where I live, because I'm Black and that's my algorithm, right? I think a lot of people didn't know if this movie would do as good because of Will Smith's situation, like the slap, right? Him slapping Chris Rock. And I think that a lot more people thought that he was canceled just completely from that than what in reality what it really was. Okay. And I think Will is kind of talking his shit on this movie interview run that he's on with Martin, and somebody was like, yeah, you had like 11 number ones and summer blockbusters, and he's like, yeah, you'll never see no shit like that again. He's absolutely correct, right? Because Will Smith is a summer blockbuster movie maker, and you can still tell from this movie, although he's a little bit slower and he's still a little bit like he's older, right? He's still fucking Will Smith, and Martin is Martin, because I think Martin had a producer credit for this movie too as well. Yeah. So I think people just thought it wouldn't do this well because they didn't know how they were going to take Will Smith, and the reality is he's still Will Smith and still knows how to pick and act in a movie to pull people in.
And at the end of the day, like, this is a character that helped him grow into the actor that he is now. Sure. And while I have not seen Bad Boys 1 still, pause for gasps. While I have not seen that now, like, it's still something that, like, it's a classic role for him that helped him get to where he is today. He's still got this character down to a science. Yeah. Like, he still knows how to step into this skin and be this other person. So like, he did a great job with it. Will Smith is 55. You don't really see it on him in this, like, at all. Martin Lawrence is 59. Yeah. Martin Lawrence is 59.
Oh, no shit. Is he?
Yeah. Huh, according to a quick Google, he is 59. Okay. You see it a little bit more in Martin, but I think that there was the one thing I want to say off the rip is that this movie is enjoyable, but there are some moments where they had some really close-up shots and they just did both of these poor boys dirty. Like, they were like, yeah. Let's make Martin look like he's actively drenched in sweat for every single close-up. Yeah. Now, it is Miami and it's humid all the time, but this felt excessive. Yeah.
You know what? I'll say it did. Like, I don't want to start there.
We don't have to start there.
Yeah, I don't want to start because I don't want to start dissing two black men. I want to start with this is why we need Brian. I want to start. No, I'm just kidding. I do want to start. This movie is fun. Bottom line. Okay. I think it's a good movie. I think somebody gave it an A- in like a cinema score. Take that for what you want to, but I think I would agree with this is an A-. I think some things run a little bit too long. Yeah. Some camera shots are like, for the most part, 90% of the camera shots and the camera work that they do in this reminds me of old school movies. And it's refreshing to see new shots and new shit in like older movies that we like to see, right? Like the rigs, like there was behind the scenes footage of Will with the rig with the gun, and they put it in the first person shooter mode. And then they the rig flips itself when he flips the gun to reload it. I think all of that is fire. Some of the shots extend a little bit too long for the scene that it was in. Yes. And that's the only thing that kind of throws me off.
Yeah. I will say, and I will also say this. One thing I've always like, Michael Bay, he gets a lot of credit. He gets a lot of like hate because all he does is explosions. All he does is action. Like, he doesn't know how to, man doesn't have any nuance. He doesn't have any subtlety. And I will say this movie, I think, is good for him. And I think one thing you can always rely on him to do is he's going to shoot action in the most innovative way possible. And I think with this movie in particular, you saw him do some really cool stuff with drones. The scene where they're in the art installation, I mean, they used drones to shoot shots that were able to like sort of go down in and zip around and pan, and to have that be like a practical effect and not very easily done CGI. That's really, really cool and like looked fucking awesome for like the movie to be able to weave in and out of stuff and essentially put the audience to be able to get a full picture of like what's going on. But I agree with Marcus. There are moments where they go on just a beat too long. Specifically the shot, like specifically the scene right before they go storm the misleading alligator amusement park. They have this like shot on Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, and they do these like close-ups of their faces, and it's really like tight. Just their faces, and it's really tight in on their face. And I just would have done it a smidgen differently. And again, you're not going to this because you're like, I really need to see and hear the dialogue. Like, it's an action movie. You're going to have fun and be there for the ride. So it feels weird to be critical, but you're right. They do go on for just a beat.
You know, it just stands out, I think, because you're used to the shots that you get with Bad Boy. Like, Bad Boys to me always feels fast, right? The first movie is like bang bang, shoot him. Something explodes. There's a car chase. There's this. There's that. Then there's a little bit of dialogue, a little bit of fussing between Will and Martin. and you just kind of, this is how it goes. You go bam, 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 and then you do get the big explosions, the big shit like that. I was thinking back to Bad Boys 2 when they're in the house having a shoot off with the Haitians, right? There's a wall shot where you have Will Smith, and he's like 2 guns stretched out, full extension, and the camera angle works it so that you're going through the other side of the door. You see 6 Haitians on the other side with guns, and they're having this conversation through the door. You're right. Michael Bay has always been innovative, right, in the shots that he takes. I think I like the risk that you take with some of these camera shots and angles for sure. I just think if I had to critique something, it would be the shit was just it was like a little bit too long and too much, and sometimes, you know what I mean? But you're also dealing with 2 older actors, which would be, I think, another point for me. I like the way that this is the 4th movie in its run, right? These are older actors, 55 and 59. There's a good balance of the guys that we know, the characters we knew, right? Whether they passed away or whether they make a cameo in this or whatever the case may be, versus new characters being introduced. And I think it kind of puts me on this ledge of like, okay, are y'all going to pass the mantle, or like what's next? What comes after this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think they did a good job of, specifically with this one, is they almost, with the 4th movie, you can't really continue on this trend of like, I appreciate the fact that they're trying to take the same story from a different, different perspective of like the first 2, and even into the 3rd one a smidge. Like, it's very, like you said, it's very fast. These, you could see their youth and their excitement and what they're able to do as police officers. And this one is a lot more about legacy and reputation, and like what risk you're like, what's at stake by the choices you make as someone who's in the field. I mean, that's why Will Smith has panic attacks in the movie, is he's thinking about, man, I put everybody in this position, and I do this to the people that I care about. And the weight of that as a human being, they tried to bring in this human element, and I think it really, really works. And I think with the 2 sons, so with Reggie and Armando, they did really do a good job of like setting up of a, is it like, could this be a passing the torch moment? Specifically, I mean, Armando more than Reggie. I mean, Reggie maybe not, but like, but definitely with Armando, like he was like right next to Will Smith for a majority of this. So it does have this vibe of like, yeah, are they going to pass the torch? Is the next one is going to be, he's on the lam and they have to go to Bolivia to like help bail him out and clear his name. Like that's the next movie, I hand to God. And it's going to be like, family, like it'll be something like that.
Bad Boys 5 family.
Bad Boys 5 family.
I feel like I don't know if they do I don't know if they do another one. It would make the most sense because the way that it ends, and spoiler alert, is Martin says this thing throughout. Before I get to the end, Martin says this thing throughout the movie. He comes back to life and he tells Mike. He says, Mike, he basically, when Martin died, he had this outer body experience. He had this revisit of life itself, and so he saw the captain in his death, and the captain like basically told him, "It's not your time yet." Okay, and he whispered something in his ear, and then he sent him back, and then that's when Martin comes back rejuvenated, right? I think so. The entire time, Martin, I keep saying their real name versus their actor name. The entire time, Marcus tells Mike, "You're gonna have to make a tough decision, right? And you're gonna have to make a decision, and you're gonna have to know that it's okay." Okay, and so he tells him that this entire time, and then after he tells him that, Mike starts having those like anxiety attacks because he keeps put in positions where he has to make this difficult decision, and he cannot like finish like he normally would, right?
Yeah.
I don't know where else you can go from this, because in 3 and 4, in 3 it was Mike on his deathbed, then on 4 it's Martin on his deathbed. I'm not sure if you do a 5. If you what is the story that you want to tell there? Because these guys, like you said, they were there when we were young, they're there when they're older. Can you continue to stretch this story to be these 2 older guys that are too old for this shit? Like, still, would we watch? Yeah, I think absolutely we would watch if you have the right director and writers for the role. But like, where do you go from here?
I mean, not to put Roman on blast, but a Bad Boys Fast and Furious crossover where Marcus and where they have to go chase down Dom Toretto and his band of thugs is hilarious to me.
No, because they would do that because it's Miami and street racing and all this other shit. I don't want.
Jesus Christ! It would be called Bad Boys Family Forever. That's what it would be
It
called.
would be called Bad and Furious.
Oh God!
Oh God!
Yeah, I love every second of that.
I fucking hate that shit.
I want it so much more than I want the Jurassic Park crossover.
Please stop it. Please stop it, because we did cook up the Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover.
We did, and I am putting this out there that's really Roman's putting it out there.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Roman still has the same juju that we have.
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's gonna get tough because you already in this one sort of like behind the veil. I mean, McGrath does eventually take Will Smith's new fiance, Mike's new fiance, hostage. So who else can you put in harm's way? Because even Marcus's family gets put in harm's way. So the families sort of are already like at the will of the person that the sort of the antagonist a little bit. So like that's already there and it's already an element that's present. So it's a little tough here to sort of be like, well, who else could you, how does this get amped up another level?
I have a thought.
Unless one of them just dies, but that would also be weird.
But then they wouldn't do
right.
I don't think you can do the movie without. I think in some realm you have a way to keep them included is, and I told Doug this, is like Will becomes the still trigger finger happy either captain or leader of this new team because he still is the action star in real life, and Martin could become the new captain that has to call the shots and be the one to kind of put Will on his leash, even though like that was my partner and I know him. I got to make better decisions on behalf of this, you know what I mean, on behalf of my department in my city. That's one way. I have another preference of where I think it could go, but you just have to introduce another character in order to get there. I think that Armando, as Will's son, you find a way to exonerate him. Okay. You find a way to let him go or fight off his probation by being a part of this special tactic team, because the motherfucker can fight his ass off and the guy's he's a great action star, right?
Yeah, he did great.
I think if you tied Armando to somehow, some way, I don't think the character Reggie, I think he was good for what he did, but I don't think he's like a main screen type of guy that you want to see like.
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that like charisma about him. Like when you see him on screen, you're not like, oh yeah, give me more of this. Like he's right now, he's being used too much as like a punchline to really be something that you could lean into and build a franchise around.
Agreed. But I do think that you could have, follow me here, that you could possibly have Michael B. Jordan and Armando kind of pair together.
Oh, okay.
And I'm only saying that because Michael B. Jordan is in I Am Legend with Will Smith again, with Will Smith and I Am Legend 2. So if you were to find a way to introduce this Michael B. Jordan, maybe not as Marcus's long lost son, because I don't want it to be the Marcus, I don't want it to be the Mike Lowry show, right? So if you have a way of like this guy watched Martin Lawrence's character and kind of like Michael B. Jordan, instead of following Will Smith, kind of is more like the young Martin in his day and age, because that was the reason he became a cop. So now you have this new character and Armando, and they are both paired as bad boys. I think that you could do something with that. I'd watch at least 2 movies with that if the chemistry is correct. That's really the only thing, because those are 2 action stars. It gets you back into shoot 'em up, bang, bang with 2 young studs, like wherever you go. And I think that that's what this movie is missing. Now, mind you, Vanessa Hudgens is right there because she killed it too. So if you wanted to, you could do that as well. You can just you can put Armando and Vanessa Hudgens like side by side and let them go, bad boys it up if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you could. Oh yeah. Yeah, because I'm trying to think about some other ways you could do it. I mean, you could really, one thing that the franchise loves to do is it loves to give a nod to movies that came before. Like it loves to be like, even again, although I have not seen 1, there was a reference to a character in 1 in this one. Roman, stop it. Bad Boys versus Hobbs and Shaw. I also would watch that. I would also watch that. But like you could do like a, you could toss back and say like, oh, it was Marcus that saved whoever Michael B. Jordan's character, and he's what made him want to become a cop. You know what I mean? You could do something like that, and that's the through line, because that's the thing. You can always retroactively invent this stuff whenever you need to. Right. I also like the idea that Bad Boys is more of a philosophy than like a gender thing, that you could do a female character there too. So like, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of different possibilities, but it has to be right. It's got to be right, or otherwise this is going to be the one thing that I've appreciated about jumping into Bad Boys like 2, 3, and 4 is that the movies don't overstay their welcome. They're there for long enough, and then they get out. I mean, this was 110 minutes. Like, it was not long.
Yeah.
And so what I like about these movies is that they do a good job of being like, get in, get out, you're done. And I think that that's what people are looking for. But if you have a movie that comes in here and it's either too nostalgic driven, or the concepts are too new, and it's not grounded in what works, because what works is, like you said, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence being on screen together, that family, that relationship that they have. If you don't ground it in that, it's hard for us to be like, sign me up.
I agree. So yeah, that's just as far as like looking ahead to what happened. I think this movie did what it was supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I'm really excited for it to hit streaming, because I think this is it's weird to say, but it's an easily streamable movie. In any other sense, I would have bought this on DVD.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just enough. Like Doug said, they did just enough. They gave you the action that you wanted. They gave you some of the emotional ties into it. This movie could have gone a completely other way, where it just felt like a money grab. I also want to shout out their marketing ahead of time, because they paired with a lot of local, TikTok creators, like Black creators, like those kind of young Black creators, to kind of get this point across. Having them chase down a criminal duo, Steve Martin and Martin Short, would be fun to watch. Roman. Jesus.
He's just throwing it all out
there.
He's taking the spaghetti approach. He's throwing it all at the wall and hoping something sticks.
This is what happens when you manifest the wrong shit, Roman. Like, we don't
you gotta be careful with those powers. You gotta be, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with
man.
these.
You know better than that. But I just think that they this movie could have gone a different way. It could have been easily unlikable and come off as a money grab. I think it's great to celebrate 2 good actors and 2 good action actors in a franchise we love. This was a way to do it, right? You're kind of putting bows on all their story. Don't judge me. I'm a top tier Patreon member that wanted to go a step down. So just a few minutes ago. Roman.
I think, Marcus, to that point, and not to get like too nitpicky, because again, this is an action movie. That's because I think that's the reason why when like Tiffany Haddish shows up, I'm sort of like, oh man, like, because this movie doesn't feel like a money grab until DJ Khaled and her show up. Like, because it was that moment I was like, oh, so we're just putting people in this to put people in this. Like, it was just like one of those moments, because the Tiffany Haddish piece for me, I was just like, this feels, I don't know, you could have gone with anybody else. Now, to be fair, and I'm going to quote a line she said in the movie. This is not me being gross. This is a line she said in the movie. When she looks at Will Smith and says, how about you? Never, I can't even say it. How about you lick me in a very sensitive area? Like it, like, I was like, oh my God. Like, it was like kind of like, and only her could deliver that line, really.
You really tiptoeing over there, brother. You all right?
I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best.
Funny enough, that wasn't actually a line in the movie. That's what Doug said about that green M&M.
That is exactly what I said about the green M&Ms. Quietly to myself, I just didn't think Marcus could hear me with all the shooting and exploding.
I feel like, so I agree. I'll just say it. I think Tiffany Haddish showing up felt forced. Maybe that works in a bigger crowd. And I told this to Doug, like, whenever we go to a theater, our theaters are not jam-packed out theaters anymore, right?
No.
Not where, at least not in Verm and not in, and that's no knock. It's just like, that's just not what they
if anything, it's sad because we want more people there because we don't want them to close.
Go to the theater, please. Everyone go to the theater. But also maybe it was the time of day, maybe it was like the day we went on. I don't really know, but we, usually I could see when I used to go to the movies in Virginia, right? Go to the AMC theater and it's a packed theater. I could hear how that line that Tiffany Haddish delivers to Will Smith, telling Will Smith to eat her, boo boo boo, can hit and kill in maybe a movie theater filled with people. But I think, as I'm not like the biggest fan of Tiffany Haddish, and maybe Doug is not familiar with Tiffany Haddish to any capacity or whatever the case may be, that didn't make sense to me. Joyner Lucas being in this made sense to me. Even DJ Khaled, because it's Miami and you can't do that without DJ. You know what I mean? That just makes sense. For
you gotta pay the DJ Khaled tax.
Yeah.
He was gonna be in it in some way. He was either gonna be like driving a truck or he was gonna be at the art installation. And they said, like, look, man, this is the tax. We're gonna put you in it. Where do you want to be? And he was like, give me a gun and have me yelling at people. And they were like, fine, fuck it. All right, that's exactly okay. We're going to hit you with a truck and then you're going to explode. But sure, yeah, that's fine.
They did do that. And I was like, oh shit, they really did that.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. And again, kudos to DJ Khaled for being like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, like I'll do that. And it was funny. And it was like he pops up and he's in this high-pitched scream and it's very serious because there's a bounty on all the guys' heads. So that's how he pops up. He's not as DJ Khaled. He's as like a gangster. All fine and well. Some of it just kind of felt like I wouldn't have did that. And yeah, I don't know, but I think it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Like, I enjoyed it. It was a fun ride. I know Marcus was like, there were moments where I was like, that's the next movie. He didn't actually die. Oh, that'd be some wild shit.
Zombie Khaled.
It's a zombie Khaled. Marcus looked at me and he was like, I wasn't sure how you felt about this movie. That's something he asked me like when we got done. And I think it's because it's enjoyable and it's such a ride, but there are still moments because Michael Bay has such a style, like, and he has such signature pieces that he puts on his movies that, like, when they happen, you kind of are just sort of there and it's a spectacle and you're kind of like zoning out and in it a little bit. So like one example I gave is towards the end when they're storming the alligator amusement park, there's a moment where they're flying in drones who have like guns and like who are there as like backup, like, because that's one of the cops like skill sets is he's very good with technology. So he's flying these drones in and there's a sniper on a roof and Will Smith goes, take out the sniper. He's like, Roger that. And he goes up there and rather than shooting him, this motherfucker drops a bomb on top of this one building with one sniper on it. And that's the moment I was like, Michael Bay. Like, it was just sort of like one of the, like, that was the Michael Bay moment of the movie of like, you could have done this any other way, but you did it this way. And I guess that's just I guess that's just where we are. So like, it's fine. And it's not bad, but it's like, you know what I mean? When you see it's like Zack Snyder in slow-mo, like you watch it and you're just kind of in it and you're like, yep. This is a Michael Bay movie. I forgot. And then here's my reminder. So
I also want to credit like Michael Bay. And I think we might have said this at the beginning, but so Michael Bay, I think has a producer credit on this and then a cameo, but the directors are Adil El Aribi and Bilal Fallah. And so they did direct the 3. They did Bad Boys for Life in 3. And then they also came back to direct this one. I think, number one, outside of this being a Bad Boys movie and a continuation of one of my favorite movies, theater-wise, probably one of the best movies I've seen in the past few months. I think that was more enjoyable to watch, right?
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen everything. I haven't seen I did not see the monkey movie. I have not seen, there's a couple other things I haven't seen.
Careful with that monkey movie. You go down a rabbit hole. You suddenly...
trust me, I love a good monkey movie. And yeah.
So me too.
Yeah. So does Mr. Boo. And so I feel like Brian's gonna be so disappointed in us.
He's gonna be so mad.
He's gonna be so mad.
He's like, I can't leave. I can't leave.
I can't go on vacation.
Yeah. It's like when you come back and you found out your kids had a party while you were gone. It's like, oh, so I just can't leave while you guys are here, huh?
I can't even enjoy myself. I think that this is one of the better movies. It's one of the easier to watch movies. It's you can't say action movies are dead when a movie like this quote unquote overperforms. Which means you just have to make something good and people will watch it.
Yeah. And I think
most part.
And it can't have a shitload of homework.
Yeah.
Like, because that's the thing. Again, I have not seen 1. I don't remember 2, but I know I've watched it. And I watched 3. Like, here's the order that I watched these. Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys 2, Bad Boys 4. Still haven't seen Bad Boys 1. Like, that's the order that I watched this in.
Man.
And so, like, what I appreciate about this is there's no homework. Like, you don't have to come into this and be like, oh, who the hell is that? Like, they say like that's Captain. Like, that's the person, we like him. Like, they make it so simple for you to jump in and not feel like you don't know what's going on. That it really, and what I like about it is it really just does a job of saying, no, if you want more of these, there's 3 others. Like, go nuts. Like, so I think, to your point, is that like it's good. It's easily consumable. It goes down smooth. It's not, you don't have to like super pay attention. You can just enjoy the ride. There were 2 people who sat next to me who, when they first sat down, I was like, they are not going to like this. And it was an old lady who I thought was going to die, and her husband. And when they sat down, I was like, she's not going to like this. Like, this is going to be like, I can just hear it now. She's gonna say it's too loud, or she's gonna say like, I don't know what's going on. But she was like laughing and hooting and cheering like the whole time. And so I think that's this is something that appeals to all audiences. Like, this is something that works across the board.
I'm looking up this guy's name, right? The villain's name, and it's McGrath.
They did think it was going to be a Will Ferrell movie.
They did think it was going to be a Will Ferrell movie. This Will is a little bit darker than I was anticipating. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Wasn't he in Old School?
Not really sure.
Nope, that's a different one.
Was he in Kicking and Screaming? No. So Eric Dane, who is the villain, who plays villain in this movie, the villain's name is McGrath, and maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a homage. But Will Smith in Wild Wild West, right? Will Smith in Wild Wild West, there's General McGrath is the villain in Wild Wild West. And I just wasn't sure if that was like a coincidence, like the directors love Will Smith so much that they paid, homage to that. Why are you laughing? What's wrong?
Because I could see the conversation between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Like, because Martin has like a little bit of a producer credit. So it's like, he's on the phone. He's like, yeah, man, we're almost ready to start shooting. They're really hung up on the name of the villain. Got any good villain names? He's like, well, I thought somebody named McGrath in Wild Wild West. He's like, fuck it. Love it. Let's just do that.
Don't say fucking love it. Don't do that. That guy was General McGrath. I think it makes most sense if this guy is I have to rewatch the movie. If the villain in this, Eric Dane, was a general who got kidnapped by the Colombians, his name was General McGrath, and the guy in Wild Wild West was named General McGrath.
God damn it.
And I love both of those movies. So, and Will Smith, come back for another fucking Men in Black. Stop remaking Bad Boys. That's enough Bad Boys. Come back and do another Men in Black. And
I would love another Men in Black.
Please, one more where you're in the action and then you become the new Zed, like you become the new guy that oversees the Men in Black, but like you introduce or bring back the previous, like Chris Hemsworth and
Tessa Thompson.
Tessa Thompson. Oh my God.
But here's the thing.
Jesus Christ.
Here's the thing.
Tessa Thompson and Vanessa Hudgens.
They're very attractive people. They are green M&M tier status.
Motherfucker. He ruined it. He ruined it. And we just sexualized the green M&M. You can't go back and compare them to the thing that we sexualized.
Well, you know what? We all have our thing. But with Will Smith and with Men in Black,
excuse.
Don't always pair. Here's my fear: is I feel like Michael B. Jordan and Will Smith are so similar. You should. Thank you for doing that. You should. You absolutely should. Here's what I'm saying. Michael B. Jordan and Will Smith are so comparable. My fear with doing another Men in Black is that it's going to be really easy to just say, pair them together again. And I don't want that to be a thing. I like them, and I think for Bad Boys it works. Okay. Okay. This is...
Roman said I dressed up as a green M&M for Halloween once.
Well, here we are. I don't know where to go from here. Like, I don't know. This is sort of like a now what? Now what? Now what do you want me to do here? Like, that's now what do you want me to do here?
Man.
But I want you to, if you're gonna do a movie where it's you're playing the Zed, bring me some new talent.
That's
that
what
comes in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bring in some fresh talent that we've never seen before. I think, unfortunately, Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson carry too much baggage of that movie not doing well to be in it. So I almost think you need to go younger. Like, kind of do what you did with Ghostbusters and bring someone who's like not that young, but you know what I mean? But like they're in college and they're looking for a part-time job, and you know, they stumble onto this. Like, I think that
you know who I think would be great. I think if you had Tommy Lee Jones and his grandson was like the next person, Glenn Powell. That's one. So
yeah,
you go get Glenn Powell and
wait
you
a
let
minute.
him.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Those two are related?
No, not in real life.
Oh
no,
I thought you meant
in the movie.
I thought you meant like those two are related, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
no,
okay.
Sorry, no, not in real life. Glad I wasn't trick or treating in Doug's neighborhood.
It would have been a problem.
Oh, that's disgusting. Oh my god. Yo,
do you understand that my philosophy with 90% of this is yes and?
I know.
I take an improv approach. If somebody's like, hey, I'm gonna good thing I wasn't trick or treating, I'm like, good thing. It would have been a problem.
That's how Mr. Boo in Big Texas came to be, because Doug doesn't say, hey, that not right now, not in the middle of Sam's Club. He just says, all right, now what else do we want?
How do we make this worse? Like, how do we make it hilarious? Like, that's what I'm going for.
Good skill for when you need it, but sometimes when you're just trying to avoid cancellation, it's
Glenn Powell as his grandson,
as a young K. And then I don't always want to go to Michael B. Jordan, because I don't think Glenn Powell and Michael B. Jordan would pair well in that. But I think that's how peanut M&Ms are made. Roman's in his own world.
Roman, I'm praying for you now.
Yeah,
like that's
the Most High, come back, because
we need help. This man also needs help.
So bad.
This man also needs help.
This is so bad. Anyway,
but anyway, but it'd be good. I believe it was a good movie. Anything else that you want to say about Ride or Die, Bad Boys?
First of all, we're not as mad as Will Smith as y'all thought we were. Will Smith, don't slap nobody else, though. Like, just like, you know what I mean? Like, just don't slap nobody else. I love this for him. I'm hoping that some of the stuff that the movies that he had gotten canceled or put on pause, I hope that people see this and they want to like support him more and amp this up and put this out there, you know what I mean? And want to see more in him, especially as, you know, he's getting older. We won't have him around. Him, the Tom Cruises. There's like that certain caliber of action star that I don't know if they'll ever come back, because these guys are willing to go the extra step that most aren't. And shout out to Martin Lawrence. Like, granted, there's been a lot in the news about his health and people concerned about him, but he said he's good. He's going on a world tour comedy-wise, going back to stand-up. So I feel like you just have to, you know, you want to appreciate these greats, and especially these older Black greats for me that I grew up around. Will Smith is the guy, one of the main reasons I started rapping. It's like J. Cole and Will Smith. Right. And so it sounds funny and it sounds weird, but like, if you know anything about me and know anything about the way I grew up and everything like that, like that's like important to me. Right. So to see these guys still be celebrated like this is super, super important to me. Want to give flowers before they're beyond the grave and can't smell them anymore. And I think it's just a good movie. If you want something to watch, it's a good rated R. I think it had the biggest rated R opening in 6 years or something like that. It's some kind of crazy wild
ever since Deadpool 2, I'm pretty sure.
Oh no shit. That
would probably have been a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think this is a fun ride. It's a good movie. See it in a theater if you can. I do think that these action movies are built for that. That's what makes them great, is you hear them with the big speakers and the big screen, like, and it makes it, not that you can't enjoy them at home, but it's a different experience when you're in a theater, which also could be why this movie did well. Like, it's an action movie. You want to see an action movie in a theater. Like, yeah, I can watch a comedy anywhere, but I can't watch a Michael Bay action movie anywhere. I have to see that somewhere super specific. Yeah. And then I think the other thing is I think, like, again, I would love to see more of Will Smith. I think he did awesome. this vibe of Will Smith, Tom Cruise, sort of these like classic action heroes, these late 90s, early 2000s action heroes. We said the same thing when Arnold and Sylvester Stallone like started acting less, right? Like we kept saying the same thing. We kept saying like you're never going to see anybody like them again. And we're getting to that point where you might not see them as much like something like this ever again. So like you said, enjoy it while you can. But yeah, recommend it. Go out and see it. It's a lot of fun. See it in the theater if you can. See it in the local theater if you can, because it's a fun ride. So, Marcus, anything that you would like to plug this week?
Yes, I'm pulling up music. But anyway, you want to make sure that before you even follow the mantra, my doggies. Oh shit! Oh, sorry, my bad. Why the fuck is it putting it way up there?
I don't know.
Before you do anything else, before you follow the mantra, make sure that you go to Etsy. This is Maggie Roush's store. You can go to Color Me Confetti on Etsy. That's ColorMeConfetti at Etsy. Make sure that you go to Color Me Confetti for all your party hardy needs. You don't want to do all the work. You just want to be able to set some stuff up, set it up. You want somebody else to do the fantabulous work and you get credit and set it up on the back end. As long as you pay on Etsy, that's what this store is for. All right. You give Maggie Roush the props on the back end. But this is a beautiful store. Everything for all of your party needs. Go to Color Me Confetti on Etsy. And then you want to follow the mantra. Never offended. Always humble. You know what I mean? Go buy yourself some merch. Go buy yourself some merch with the link in my bio on all socials. Marcus J. Destin. Go ahead. Go stream some music. Soul Ties song link is out right now. So just go stream. And bye.
Bye. I want to plug this podcast. Hey, if you enjoyed listening to us talk about all of our randomness, if you enjoyed hearing us talk about Bad Boys Ride or Die, recommend us to a friend or a family member. That is the best way you can support your local, your small town podcasts. And if you're feeling generous, head over to patreon.com/filmsinblackandwhite. Sign up for one of our tiers there, because we would love to have you and we would always appreciate the support. Marcus, we have a 3-step process to success. What, sir, is that first step?
Playing music.
No,
here's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you read a book. We don't care what you read. We don't care what time you read it. It can be on a Kindle. It can be on an iPad. However you decide to read your book, go ahead and read a book. Read a comic book. Got a bunch of graphic novels from John Little. Got a bunch of graphic novels from Doug for my trip. So just make sure that you read a book, baby.
Absolutely. Look, y'all, it's 80 degrees outside. We are full on summer right now. Drink some water, stay hydrated. You don't want to get a headache like in the middle of the day and have to go inside and sit down. You want to take advantage of the beautiful weather and the sunshine while you can. So make sure that you drink some water, keep yourself hydrated, and treat yourself to the good water every now and again. Get yourself a Voss, a Fiji, whatever it is, but drink some water.
That last step is make sure you wash your ass. Doug just talked about how hot it's getting, and we're in 2 shower weather right now. I see you, Doug. Just focus on me. We are in two shower weather right now, 2 bath weather. Whatever it is you got to do, get the loofah, get new towels, start over. But you got to make sure that you wash your ass, and wash your ass with the good soap, the stuff that feel good on your skin, baby. Just wash your ass.
Yeah, it's important. You got to stay clean, stay fresh. Step 4, make sure you bring a backup buffer.
That's true.
Make sure, look, we didn't have a buffer. We needed a buffer. And so we were backup bufferless. And so it's important that we bring that next time. So always bring a buffer, especially if you're without one. You'll thank yourself later. That does it for this week's episode of Films in Black and White. We will be back next week with another outstanding episode. But in the meantime and in the between time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We will catch y'all next week.
Eat it. Enjoy yourselves. Brian, we miss you.
Keep that home fire burning.
I don't know if I like that. What the fuck?